Hello and welcome to this week's edition of The Olive Tree. I'm Julia Fisher, and this program is all about bringing you the stories of believers in Jesus living in Israel and the West Bank. Sandy Shoshani lives in Jerusalem. Her husband is pastor of a congregation, and Sandy is the national director of a pro-life organization in Israel called Be-Ad Chaim. Ann Pawson spoke to Sandy and asked her about the women who've had an abortion. Can Be-Ad Chaim help them?
Thanks for asking that, Anne. So, because we're a ministry of love and mercy and grace, we don't condemn those who choose abortion. We do everything in our power to help them make what I believe is the right choice to choose life. And as you said, we're practical. We offer emotional support through a counselor all over Israel. We have 12 different centers all over Israel. We're a national organization. So they can have a new best friend, basically. Because when you're pregnant, nobody's listening to you. So we offer emotional support, and we offer practical support through our Operation Moses project that gives them what they need for a full year for their baby. And that's that relationship, the personal relationship mixed with the practical support that really enables a mom to choose life. But if somebody has chosen an abortion, or if she had an abortion before she heard about us and calls the office because this is happening now, or if she's had a stillbirth, in Israel, many women at the end of pregnancy are urged to terminate their pregnancy. And in Israel, there aren't two words. There's not a word miscarriage and abortion. It's just one word. It's a word that sounds like, in Hebrew, it's like the baby fell. It's the word fell. That's how they say abortion or miscarriage in Israel. So if you have a baby that you actually terminated the pregnancy at the end of pregnancy, like after 20 or 22 weeks, they're calling that a stillbirth. But indeed, it was an abortion. But in any case, to the Israeli women, it's the same. And there are many of these women now who are seeking help because they're deeply grieving. And so we offer counseling, of course, and we also have a very, very special place. And I hope that the listeners hear this. It's called the Gardens of Life. It's a place of memorial and honor for babies who were never held or held for just a moment, and a place of healing for parents or grandparents or aunts or uncles who grieve the loss of a child who was not born, because people are told to forget about it. You'll have another one, or never mind, or you made the right decision. Those things may be true, but it doesn't stop you from hurting. People need healing. People can't just put their pain under the table. They need a place to grieve. And so the Gardens of Life is a place where literally thousands have come to plant a tree. We have the most wonderful prayer hostess there. Her name is Laurel. She joins you to pray. And if you don't want prayer, she just joins you to be there and for comfort. She's a very comforting woman. She meets you there and she ministers to your heart. And Laurel just wrote me a note. She gives me summaries of what happens in the gardens because I'm not there myself all the time. And she wrote me yesterday and she said that there was a young Israeli secular couple who came. Their baby had died at 20-something weeks, and they had never done anything for the child. And she said they came and they planted a tree and they told her, "Thank you so much. This will be the place that we come each year. It's a memorial to our little baby daughter. Thank you so much that we have a memorial now." And I can't tell you how many times people have been there and said, "This is the first and only thing I've ever done for the child that I lost. I have a place now where he is honored." I mean, it's so touching to me personally. And if you would allow me, many years ago, I have, thank God, I have 7 children. Mm-hmm. But I was pregnant 8 times, and my 7th baby was miscarried. And when we dedicated the Gardens of Life in 2010, the gardens were dedicated, and there were about 250 people planting. And of course, being the national director, I was praying with the people. I wasn't really thinking of myself. But I did have my little 10-year-old daughter with me there. And after almost everybody had finished planting, my little girl, Gili, she said, "Mom, what about the baby that died before I was born?" And I said, "Okay, you're right. I forgot about myself, And so I planted a tree, and I just guessed. I didn't really know in the spirit. I just guessed that it was a boy, and I planted the tree, and I called the baby Jedediah, which means friend of God, and I did that. Well, that was 2010, and about 2 or 3 years ago, I was driving in my car, and I just felt in my spirit that the Spirit of God was speaking to me and said, Sandy, the little baby that you lost was a girl. And I called her Rachel. I gave her a name, and Rachel means little ewe lamb. And the Lord said, she's with me, and I took her home, and she's my little lamb. And I'm sharing that because it was such a comfort to my heart, and I believe God told me that so that all those who have lost a child, whether it was a miscarriage or abortion, we have the same God. Friends, we have the same God. He is a forgiving and loving God. And those little babies, and I don't know their new bodies, what they're like, but I know that they are with him in heaven and that he has given each one a name because he says that. I have a name for each one. Written on that white stone, he has a name. So we can be assured that every child is with God in heaven, with a new body. We are not married. We are like angels, as it says, that the Lord himself said, and that God knows each one by name. So be assured, if you have lost a child, God has not lost the child. Be encouraged, and I welcome each one. Please come. If you're in Israel, come to the Gardens of Life and plant a tree there. Just call our office or write us a note and we'll help arrange it for you. We have the most gorgeous certificates after you plant you can put the baby's name. They're very beautiful, done by artist Amy Sheetreat there. I'll give a pitch for my friend Amy. They're beautiful. Amy's a wonderful artist. And you're most welcome. If you want us to plant, we could do that for you. It's not a problem. It's just I personally feel that if you are here, it's very healing to go there yourself. And we can minister with you and to you. So bless you and know that God has forgiven. Sisters, there's nothing that is not forgivable. Nothing. God forgives, and God wants to release and heal and give each one of us freedom. He says, where God is, there is spirit. And where the spirit is, there is cherut, freedom.
Sandy, we've heard about all the work that Be-Ad Chaim does, saving lives. And we've also heard about the mission work that's going on here throughout the land with other congregations. Can you tell me, what do you see God doing here around you?
Well, I'm absolutely thrilled because actually I've been blessed to see it firsthand. So many women coming to faith. I'm just ultra blessed, but I believe it. I believe that there are open hearts. A couple of years ago, maybe last year, I was on TV. I've been on TV a few times, but the last time this interviewer came in, she'd had an abortion, and she wanted me to tell her that the baby wasn't a baby till birth, but I couldn't say that. But anyway, the point is that the cameraman, she said at the end of the program, so why do you do all this? And I'm just very straightforward. I said, because I am a Jewish person who believes that our Messiah is Yeshua, and that God has given us Yeshua, who is the son of David, the Messiah of Israel. That's what I believe. And I serve him, and I believe every person's created in his image. And the cameramen were listening to me and said, oh, that's really interesting. That's really good. You know what I believe? I believe that the time has come when the hearts are open for the people of Israel. And that I just saw a post on Facebook this morning that said that some Orthodox person had offended one of my friends who was wearing a little T-shirt and wouldn't sit near her on the bus. And my response was, this people honors me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. And I think that many, many people want to know God. Somebody yesterday said to me, a woman last week came back to the faith. She had left God and become ultra-Orthodox for 7 years. And the Lord woke her last week, I can say almost from a stupor. And he said, I won't say her name, of course, but he said, come, walk with me, my beloved. Leave the things you've been doing and walk with me again. And she said to me, I knew religion, but I didn't know relationship. And I believe that our people are hungry. I love what's going on now. One of our daughters is with Jews for Jesus on a trip now. She's in South America. And their prayer is that they would meet the Israelis that are going around the world looking for God. And what does the word say in the book of Amos? And the day will come when they will thirst and hunger, not for food and not for water, but for me, a famine for me, for my word, for my truth, for my face. And that's what people, Israeli young people after the army, they go all over the world. I don't believe they're looking just for a trek. They're not looking just for a walk in nature. They're looking for their God, and they don't know it. But I believe my daughter's going to meet many of them in South America now. And I'm thrilled to see the hearts of Israelis opening, looking for relationship and not for religion. They need it. We all need him. The heart of every one of us is yearning, and especially the Jew, because Paul said, it says to the Jew first, I am not ashamed of the gospel, because it's the power of God for salvation for the Jew first and then for the Gentile. And the hearts of the Jews is yearning for more than religion. It's not enough. And if you're listening and you're a churchgoer, God bless you. But look for him, for relationship, more than religion. It's not the customs that are going to save us. It's the relationship.
You've been listening to Sandy Shoshani talking to Ann Pawson about her work with Be-Ad Chaim in Israel. The Olive Tree Reconciliation Fund is a Christian charity based in the UK that supports the needs of both Jewish believers and Arab or Palestinian Christians living in Israel and the wider Middle East. If you'd like to know more about our work through our bi-monthly newsletter, including news about our upcoming tours, please either visit our website www.olivetreefund.org or write to me, Julia Fisher, OTRF, PO Box 402, Billingshurst, RH14 4BQ in the UK. Meanwhile, join me at the same time next week for another story from the Olive Tree. Until then, goodbye.